Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be showcasing what I consider to be the fastest, uh, I guess, side story Overlord Hunt collab event team. Now, to be clear, this is not supposed to be super free to play friendly, although, in my opinion, it does take away couple less characters from your RTA roster. It is the end of season, so you do have to take that into consideration when you're farming for this event. But let's get into it. So first and foremost, if you haven't seen already, the event is in full gear, and a couple of the teams that I've heard talked about are things like I guess I can't really show it right here, but it were teams that involved characters like Cannaaaa. There are certain teams that involve characters like Sinful Angelica and Sid. Tristan Wolf, thankfully, has, longtime friend of the channel, has shown off a couple of these different variations, what the strengths or weaknesses of each of these are, and why they are sometimes nice to have. Sid Sinji, in my opinion, is definitely something that I would consider if I don't want to, I guess, take away from the RTA experience. Of course, if you're playing Sid and you're playing the Flitica Sid composition, that will be an issue. However, for the sake of this video, I will recommend that because I don't think the average player has Sid built for that specific purpose. Otherwise, though, I do think that the team composition that I have right now is really good. And even though I'm running it right now, I'm going to rerun it and show you the strength of this composition. So first and foremost, as you can see, it involves Shaltir, Ainz, Galalilius, and Watcher Shuri. Some of these characters are nice for PvP, of course. However, something like an imprint, and I do kind of feel the strain of taking away Gala if you are someone that relies on her. However, I do think that taking away someone like Cannaaaa hurts even more, so it is kind of a pick your poisons sort of situation. Something that I do want to mention specifically for this team composition, however, is that it is the most consistent that I've seen. At worst, what you have is a 1 minute clear, and if there's RNG in your favor, the run goes even faster. I've cleared as quick as 52 seconds, which is really, really nice. However, what you'll see here is that my Albedo skills, my Shaltir skills are off. Let me move my camera real quick so you can see this. Ainz's skills are on, of course, because you want Death Sentence. Gala does basically the entire crystal's health, but the goal of Shaltir going first is that Shaltir weakens it just a little bit, and then the Galalilius will S3 and one-shot it. Finishing things off is the Watcher Shuri with the skill 3 that he has attack buff on because of the Gala. I did also put Warhorn on my Watcher Shuri just so that I did enough damage with Gala. However, as you can see, after this initial breaking the crystal phase, it's just an S1 frenzy. And as you can see, Ainz does also contribute a little bit to the damage here. I did have to make my Ainz absolute base speed, and I'll show the tuning of speed and things like that after the fact, but you can time it yourself. I don't have a timer on screen because I'm doing all this during the subathon. However, even with this extra hit from the priest right here, this clocks in at the time of dust disappearing at exactly 1 minute. Let's get into the stats now, however, if you take a look at the characters that I just basically used, something that you should also know about farming this event is that you don't actually need to be max or pretty much any investment at all when it comes to Shaltir. What you do have here, though, is a Shaltir that's 227 speed. She vastly outspeeds the Galalilius. Something worth noting is that although 227 speed is not a hard number that you need to hit, I did notice that having a bit more speed on my Shaltir allowed her to take more turns, do a little bit more damage, specifically because she has the speed increase that she provides not just to herself, but also to Ainz. And of course, I do have Pipette Lance here, and I did kind of RNG luck sack this, but this doesn't really change anything in terms of how the run goes. For stats, again, you want to have 100 crit chance, you want to have as much damage as you can. Her health doesn't really matter that much, and although I do acknowledge that there is somewhat of a scare or a fear of her not activating her attack buff if she drops below 60% health, assuming that you have a strong enough Gala or assuming that you have enough damage on your Watcher Shuri, that should compensate for it. Long story short, though, Speed Pen, really nice. If you need to compensate with it with something else, that's totally fine, but it should work. For Ainz specifically, what I have on Ainz is a purely base speed character. If you want your run to take a little bit slower, or if you want your run to be a little bit slower, or if you can't afford to find the things that I have, you can, of course, just run him on basically no damage but base speed. Being base speed, in my opinion, for the specific layout of this cleave is really, but run is really, really important, because otherwise Ainz will end up taking the turn before Watcher Shuri, and the Watcher Shuri will instead, have to, kill a bomb that already has death sentence on it. It doesn't do anything, not worth it. That being said, I do like having damage on my Ainz. He is an AoE character, so having pen doesn't make sense. If you need crit, that's also fine, but I ended up using Torrent. Something that's also worth noting is that, of course, with the Ainz artifact, there is a chance that you don't have it, which is really, really weird RNG, and I don't know why they did that. It's kind of annoying. I would have rather them give it to us entirely or not at all. This feels like the worst in between of all time, which is what it's like. If you're lucky, you can get both. If you're not lucky, you don't get any. And even if you do get one piece, it's even worse because you don't even get the additional benefit that you get from having a max artifact. Like, you only receive the max or increased bonus to Ainz's artifact, assuming that you have it max limit broken. Dumb concept, whatever. In any case, the next thing that I do find to be a little bit difficult to gear is going to be the Gala Lilius. And as you can see here, I have my Gala at 5,000 attack, 310 crit damage, and 200 speed. This is the speed that I found to kind of make things work out in terms of the middle ground between the speed of Watcher and also making sure to go after the Shaltir. Now, of course, Shaltir is going to be mighty faster because she has 30% speed, but for whatever reason, when I did decide to make Shaltir a little bit slower, it felt like the tuning was off. So I will show you, of course, like the stats here. She does have everything max mulloed, her S3, her S1, her S2. I do have her on Destruction Torrent, and I do acknowledge that, again, trying to one-shot this fight, and if you're in this video, you are trying to optimize things, and it may be a little bit difficult to find the damage for certain things like this. I do acknowledge as well that if you want to have a little bit more damage and you aren't able to pop the crystal initially, switching from our beautiful seasons to something like Wind Rider or any other artifact that does increased damage also works. The main reason being that because the crystal is not an elite mob or a boss monster, this artifact provides literally zero value to your first Gala Lilius S3. So therefore, if you want more damage on the second boss, which of course makes more sense because the boss, is alive for more than just the crystal, it does make sense to try and get to a point where you can one-shot the boss with your Watcher Shuri and your Gala, not being on something that only affects, elite bosses, but rather giving her this, and of course that'll lead to a faster run. Again, though, you don't need crit chance on this character. I have a bunch of wasted, but finding perfect no crit chance gear on Gala is a little bit difficult, especially if you still want to be in the 200 speed range. Again, you do want to definitely be faster than Watcher Shuri, so at minimum, I did find that a 180 speed Watcher Shuri does not often or at all, I believe, I haven't found a run yet, where Watcher Shuri outspeeds Ainz at 115 base speed, but at 180 speed, he seems pretty safe, and the Gala Lilius at 200 obviously ignores any speed RNG with a 180 Watcher Shuri. That being said, though, we should move on to the Watcher Shuri, and as you can see, he also has a bit demonic gear on. I've seen people run a Destruction Torrent Watcher Shuri that also works to similar effect, but I do have him on Warhorn because it feels like his attacks don't actually do that much. And although that is kind of contradictory because, of course, I'm having Warhorn and he's taking more turns, the additional damage that you provide to the first turn where your Gala Lilius needs to skill 3 and the Shaltir has to S1 makes him really, really nice as a cleaner upper, while also being someone that has an artifact that isn't specifically damage-based, because outside of his initial first S3, honestly, guys, his S1 is not doing that much, and his S2 is even worse because it resets the damage stacking thing. Whatever the case is, not very good outside of the first S3, but you do definitely want him to clean off the fight. Now, beyond that, the tuning for him, of course, is really important because you want him to be faster than Ainz so that Ainz doesn't end up, death sentencing the crystal. But outside of that, that is the fastest team, guys. I'll show you another run just to be clear. As soon as things, I guess, kind of reset here. Actually, no, it's fine. I'll just reset from this point. And just to prove again that there shouldn't be any RNG. Again, the runs will only be faster or I guess the RNG of this fight is not that it would become slower, it would literally become faster. But started the time watch, add like a second or two to this because I did it a little bit late. But RNG here is actually bad. The only bad RNG actually that you can get is if the initial Shaltir S1 gets hit by someone or you drag duels like Ainz or something, because it technically takes up more time in the animation because you have to sit there and the crystal's dying anyway, so it doesn't even matter. So technically that's a bit of an RNG loss, but let's say, again, now we're at about 30 seconds, add 2 seconds to the timer because I did it a little bit slow. We have an S1 frenzy. Hopefully we don't get any duels so I can show you the like worst in slot timing of things. Okay. Side note, I will say that the EE on Watcher does not matter that much, but I do enjoy the S2 pushback one. 53 seconds. 55, 56. Okay, and there you go. About 56, 57, 58 seconds is about what I ended up timing at, which again, based on everything that you have here, doesn't require you to take out any super crazy characters. Again, if you want to get rid of Gala instead of Cannaaaa, by all means, there is another team that involves removing the Watcher Shuri. Actually, wait. I think the Gala... Actually, I think the Cannaaaa team involves Gala. I haven't exactly done the Cannaaaa team myself because that's a little bit ridiculous for my standards. However, I do think that based on what I've seen and what I've done from the testing in this fight, I do really like the Gala Watcher Shuri team. And the Cannaaaa team, I guess if you aren't doing RTA, is also fine. I've heard that it goes as fast as 55 seconds with a little bit of tuning and things like that, which is obviously going to be a little bit better. 5 seconds, about better than what I have here. Just keep in mind that this run with a bit of RNG and additional attacking or additional dual attacks does make it so you can go as equally as fast as something like 52 or even 51 seconds. Anyways, though, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you again for watching. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed. But yeah, make sure to check out the rest of my socials. We're maybe almost at the end of the subathon. I'm hoping that it continues because I'm trying to reach the goal of 1,200 subs because I want to prove something to myself, and I apologize. But thank you guys for supporting. In any case, thank you again for watching. I'll see you all on the next one. Good night. Okay.